I thought it was curious and interesting enough to share. So we'll check it out.
Jeffrey Sachs is about to give a talk here in the European Parliament.
What was Putin's intention in the war? Not the propaganda that's written about this. Oh, that they failed and he was going to take over Ukraine. The idea was to keep NATO, and what is NATO? It's the United States, off of Russia's border. No more, no less. When the Soviet Union ended in 1991, and an agreement was made that NATO will not move 1 inch eastward. Now, what happened after 1991, the United States decided there would be no end to eastward enlargement of NATO. And the decision was taken formally in 1994 when President Clinton signed off on NATO enlargement to the east, all the way to Ukraine and into Georgia. So the NATO enlargement, as you know, started in 1999 with Hungary, Poland, and the Czech Republic, and Russia was extremely...
And by the way, this is not like a anti-American sentiment that I have. This is just how potentially corrupt bureaucracy can become if the wrong people are leading a great nation, or if they do things with ill intentions. And again, allegedly, I don't know anything about how true any of this is, but if I take this guy at his word for what it is, yikes.
Unhappy about it, but these were countries still far from the border. So the next round of NATO enlargement came in 2004 with the 3 Baltic states, Romania, Bulgaria, Slovenia, and Slovakia.
And again, if this is all true, if I was Russia, I'd be like, what the fuck's going on here? How come all these nations are starting to build up surrounding me? This is not comfortable.
At this point, Russia was pretty damn upset. So as everybody recalls, in 2007,
and trust me, it pains me to ever empathize with Russia, but here I am doing that right now based off of everything that I'm seeing.
Putin said, stop, enough. And of course, what that meant was in 2008, the United States jammed down Europe's throat enlargement of NATO to Ukraine and to Georgia. This is right up against Russia. And Russia protested, because if Russia decided to have a military base on the Rio Grande or the Canadian border, not only would...
How would you feel about that, guys? I wouldn't feel very comfortable if Russia started putting military bases in Canada and Mexico around us. I'd be like, what? Why is Russia coming over here and doing that? That's really weird.
The United States freak out. We'd have war within about 10 minutes. And a month later, a war broke out. That gets Georgia destroyed. And starting in 2010, the U.S. put in Aegis missile systems in Poland and then in Romania. And Russia doesn't like...
Shout out to Kira, by the way. I don't blame you for abstaining, but shout out to you.
That. In 2010, Viktor Yanukovych was elected on the platform of neutrality. Russia had no territorial interests or designs in Ukraine at all. What Russia was negotiating was a 25-year lease for Sevastopol naval base. That's it. Not for Crimea, not for the Donbass, nothing. In 2014, the U.S. worked actively to overthrow Yanukovych. Everybody knows the phone call by my Columbia University colleague, Victoria Nuland, and the U.S. Ambassador Peter Piot. Listen to it. It's fascinating.
I don't think Cleach should go into the government. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's a good idea. I think Yats is the guy who's got the economic experience, the governing experience, and, fuck the EU.
No, exactly.
Whoa.
And I think we've got to do something to make...
What?
You don't get better evidence. Then came Minsk, and especially Minsk II. It said there should be autonomy for the Russian-speaking regions in the east of Ukraine. It was supported unanimously by the UN Security Council.
I've never had anyone in the United States government properly explain why we're funding Ukraine as much as we are. They just keep doing it without explaining it to anybody, which is very concerning because it's almost like they don't want to get caught in something. They're just doing it.
The United States and Ukraine decided it was not to be enforced. There were many thousands of deaths in the shelling by Ukraine in the Donbass. And one of the issues on the table in December 2021, January 2022, was, does the United States claim the right to put missile systems in Ukraine? And Blinken told Lavrov in January 2022, the United States reserves the right to put missile systems wherever it wants.
Yikes.
So the war started. What was Putin?
That would be like Russia moving into Mexico and Canada, then putting missile systems in. I would not feel very comfortable there. I empathize with this situation, if this is to be believed with what he's saying.
Putin's intention in the war. It was to force Zelenskyy to negotiate neutrality. And that happened within 7 days of the start of the invasion. Ukraine walked away unilaterally from a near agreement. Why? Because the United States told them to. The idea was that there would be Ukraine, Romania, Bulgaria, Turkey, and Georgia that would deprive Russia of any international status by blocking the Black Sea. And the American senators, who are as nasty and cynical and corrupt as imaginable, say this is wonderful expenditure of our money because no Americans are dying. It's the pure proxy war. And since the U.S. talked the negotiators away from the table, about 1 million Ukrainians have died or been severely wounded.
So with that as a appetizer for what we're going to get into, because I saw that and I'm like, okay, we need to just give a basic groundwork understanding to the greater situation here. We have the Trump, Zelenskyy, and J.D. Vance having shocking, explosive argument in the Oval Office. And I'm sure everyone's already seen this to death today. I've watched a good part of it, but not the whole thing. Yeah, I know it's not supposed to be uplifting. Sometimes there's just shit. And it's like, sometimes it's nice to be informed of what is actually going on, if that is to be the case. And I'm all ears if someone wants to be like, no, that's not what's happening. Here's actually what's happening. I haven't heard the other side of it, though. I don't hear. I'm not trying to be Asmongold. Holy shit. I just found this interesting. Anyway.
And now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal? That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned.
I like, honestly, when he talks like this, I believe him. I know there's a lot of people that are like, no, he's doing this for ulterior motives. Maybe. Might be. Call me a fool, but I believe him when he says he wants to put America first. He's been saying that for a while.
Aligned with the world. And I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that. But
and Zelenskyy has no idea what he's in for right now.
In love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough, but you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the.
I mean, hate the guy all you want. I feel like he's a very good business person, and that's coming from someone who he's had how many bankruptcies in his life and career. But damn, if he doesn't work to get something done, like as Biden was sleeping throughout his entire 4 years. Now Trump's in there like, no. We're actually going to do something here.
The way it goes. All right, one more question.
I will respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace And the path to prosperity
Shout out to
is
the bigger
maybe
army raid.
engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Now, as far as my take on Vance, which we'll get into with this, because I saw that part earlier, there have been mixed reviews on people saying he went too far, he didn't go far enough. I feel like he injected a little bit. He was a little bit over the top unnecessarily. Like, oh, you never said thank you to us. You never said thank you. I'm like, all right. Yeah, like good point, but you don't need to like keep going hammering on that over and over again. But I feel like what he was saying was necessary, but he might have just been like pushing it a little too hard. So a little bit of both.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied it.
Look at Trump's face right now. Trump is ready to shut him the fuck down.
Our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2015.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was
he killed,
not here.
yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations.
Will the pan said Zelenskyy got called out for not wearing a suit? Yeah, that was funny.
And we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel. We signed ceasefire.
But that's the other thing is though, like saying he's not wearing a suit. I think it's funny for calling him out for that, but at the same time, like it's a different culture, it's a different nation. Like imagine like Saudi Arabian princes coming over with their whole getup and being like laughing at them because they're not wearing a suit. It's like, well, it's their style. I don't know what Ukrainian style is. I'm not going to try to like impact what they wear with what I wear.
Them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken the ceasefire.
Ukraine wears suits.
People, and
okay, if Ukraine wears suits, then yeah, that's pretty embarrassing. He's not wearing a suit then.
He didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it.
Why am I not wearing a suit on my streams? I totally should have done that tonight just for this. If I had known I was going to be watching this whole thing.
What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you.
Now, here's the interesting thing, my takeaway from this entire situation before the shit show even happens here. Interesting that this is happening publicly, like transparently in front of cameras and stuff. Why? It's almost like Trump wants to embarrass this guy to let everyone know that they're done with what they're doing here. So they wanted to do this publicly, meaning that Trump went into this with the mentality of, I'm going to just blow this to shit right here and just be like, no, we're done with this guy. We're done. Unless he makes a deal with me. And then I look good either way. Because I either blow it to shit and everyone's like, yeah, we're not wasting money on Ukraine. Or he agrees with me and everyone's like, yeah, President Trump's awesome. Like either way, Trump can't lose when this is public. But typically something like this would be behind closed doors and be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? We're not sending you any more money anymore. And here's why.
For you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and...
Oh, no, Black Actor, I agree. It should be open, not behind the scenes. But I'm just saying, historically, this kind of stuff was not out in the open.
Scripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have
And do you think that it's
I will
respectful
answer.
to come to the Oval Office
I
of the
will
United
answer.
States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions.
The frustrating thing that I kept noticing with the Zelensky and props to Vance and Trump for sticking to their guns. He tried to keep talking over them while they were asking a question and they weren't done yet. And Zelensky kept trying to interrupt them to try to make a point on his own instead of sitting back and listening for the whole question and waiting to respond. He just kept trying to, and they kept talking over him, which is why it started raising the temperature in the room. But that's because of Zelensky not waiting for them to finish their question.
Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know.
Did he roll his
God
eyes?
bless,
I missed
God
that.
bless. You
Don't-
will not
you
have
gotta-
war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on
position to
this question.
dictate that.
That's exactly
Remember
what
this.
I'm not
You're in no position.
See, Zelensky finished talking. Trump was like, okay, here's my chance to say you are in no position to say what you just said. And here's why. And as he's saying, here's why, Zelensky starts talking over him again. It's like, no, Zelensky, you said your piece. Now let Trump talk. This is how a conversation works.
To dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel
Why is he
influenced.
talking right? Why are you talking, Zelensky? Trump is not done talking yet. This is why the situation happened. This is right here. This is the problem.
Feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you, You
strong.
will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good.
Trump's like, I have the talking stick, bro. I'm holding the talking stick right now. I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to bulldoze right through your conversation because I have the talking stick still.
Position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the
bad
very
position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning.
And Zelensky's he's trying to cut Trump off because he knows he's caught. He knows he's embarrassed, and he's like, no. I need to explain. Let me explain. Like, this is wild. This is wild. Zelensky's emotional and Trump is rational. Exactly, laughing man.
Beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position.
I
You
was
don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you
I'm
don't.
very-
I'm not playing cards. What kind of comeback is that? I'm not playing cards. He's talking just to talk. What kind of response was that?
And you're
serious,
playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World.
Look at him talking, trying to talk over fucking, like, zero respect for Trump. This guy should not be representing Ukraine because he is fucking with the entire country flippantly with the most powerful nation in the world. And that's still the case. And he needs us. We do not need him. And he is being so disrespectful. It is insane. It's insane. And I'm not saying he needs to like kiss the rings of Trump or anything like that, but he needs to not try to talk over him the whole time. That is an amazing screenshot, actually. That is perfect. Clip it.
World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot
Trump is ready to throw fucking down with this guy.
of people said
Very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No.
A lot of times.
In this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania.
This is a good point. Okay, I'll give Vance that. In this meeting, he's not grateful. He's not thankful. He's just coming with the attitude of, no, you need me. And Trump's like, fuck, we do. Get out of here, bro.
And campaign for the opposition in October, offer some words of appreciation for the
You campaigned with Biden in Pennsylvania? What? Did that actually happen? What? Was that a thing? Zelensky did campaign for Harris? What? Yes? Oh my God. I didn't know that. Wow.
the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you can.
No one raised their voice, by the way. I heard this part earlier today, and I was like, that's fascinating. He falls back to, you think you raise your voice and it makes you more correct. And I'm like, bro, no one was raising their voice. People were just speaking sternly, and you kept talking over them. That's not someone raising their voice.
Speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country.
Sit the fuck down, bro. That's another freeze frame. That's another one. Oh my God, this is amazing. I didn't see this whole thing.
Is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not.
If you know, you'd be literally on your knees kissing his ring, saying, what can I do? We need you. He's trying to be like the tough guy here. And Trump's like, yeah, no, this isn't going to work, bro.
Winning this.
Degenerate says Zelenskyy looking like a kid getting scolded. I said on Twitter today, I was like, man, Trump went total full-on dad mode in this. It's like, this is a dad scolding his son here. This is wild.
You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks.
You have.
Do you know how wasteful it is? So wasteful that the U.S. has encouraged this for so long. And everyone in the U.S., the blind NPCs with the chips on the back of their head saying, I stand with Ukraine. And they're like, do you know anything about the situation? Nobody can ever talk about it. They're just like, yeah, Russia bad. Ukraine good by default because Russia bad.
In this cabinet,
You haven't been allowed.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through this
said
stupid president, $350 billion.
You
We
voted.
gave you.
Whoa! I thought it was 3.5 billion. I didn't know it was $350 billion. Shit, couldn't you build an entire country out of that? Like, what do you do with $350 billion? What? What do we have Doge for? Just cut that off. What the hell? And they still didn't win. Exactly.
Military equipment.
You
And you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave, but they had to use our military.
What about US?
If you didn't have
You
our
invited-
military.
Will the fans says Smash JT knowing very little is hilarious here. Bro, that's part of the fun.
Equipment.
You invited
If
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to
True.
be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of
Except
times
that there-
thank you
except
to
that-
American people.
Except that there are disagreements.
To the American people. How about the people in charge of the making of decisions? The American people don't give a shit about you, bro. Talk to the people that are making decisions.
And let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
I can tell you
You're
the-
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers. Listen,
Please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right.
Let's say, ask Smash why Russia invaded in the first place. Dig it all out. I'm not trying to come across here like Russia is the innocent party here. I apologize if that's what's coming across. My whole premise is, why is America so invested in Ukraine to the point of $350 billion? And nobody can ever answer that question. They're just like, trust me, bro, because if Ukraine falls, then Russia will take it over, and then they'll start taking other places over too. And I'm like, okay. And if America backs Ukraine and they win, are they going to start taking over Russia? Because that's what NATO looks like it's been trying to do for the past 3 decades. So my whole thing is like, well, maybe America needs to stop putting so much money into it and just see what happens.
Right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Exactly.
I want to stop the war,
But you're saying you don't want to
but I
ceasefire.
said to you,
I
By the
want
way,
a
this is
ceasefire
Trump-
guarantees.
because you
This is Trump following through on what his campaign was, saying he's going to stop the wars. He's literally trying to stop a war right now. Zelensky wants to keep the war going because with the war going, it's more money coming in for him.
get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That
It
wasn't
doesn't
with
matter for
me.
you what.
That
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
you.
a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your-
that
this
was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact,
Sheets?
the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards.
Well, here's the other thing I'm questioning now. It's like, well, Trump, he looks like he's ready to freaking laser beam eye him right now. Is Trump gonna like explain why he used to give javelins to him back in 2015 or 2016 or whatever, but not now? Like, what's changed? Is it because they walked away from peace talks?
But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President.
Imagine being in the crowd during this. I'd be looking around like, is this fucking real? What's happening right now? Oh, hold on. I skipped ahead.
What if they broke it? Cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make
Uh,
because the attitudes have to change.
what if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do you do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation.
Vance looks so over this. He's so pissed.
Right.
What are you saying?
What if
She's asking, what if Russia
Putin
breaks the
breaks
ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
I do like the whataboutism, like the what if. Like you could say that about anything when you're trying to make a deal. Well, what happens if it just if I bought my house and it burns down before I can get fire insurance? What about that? I'm like, well, that could always happen. Why are we asking these questions right now, though? Like, what's that gonna do? How's that accomplish or fix anything?
Okay. What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia.
It's true.
Russia. You ever hear of that?
Remember that one?
That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia, the 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you can be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out.
Think about being a Ukraine soldier right now and listening to this, and I would be fucking embarrassed for my country to see Zelensky being there, being like, it's like, bro, like fucking grow a set, talk to our president.
I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing.
Like this meeting will go down in history. People are going to remember this for like decades. People are wondering why it's covering tonight. I'm like, this is a big deal right here.
All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think?
What's
huh?
this negotiation?
This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right. We'll see what we can do about putting it together. Thanks.
Everyone's like, holy shit, what just happened today? And then we got this. I see people tagging me in the chat with this one. This is the Ukrainian. If you still wonder if Zelenskyy was right in the disrespect of the U.S. president, just look at the face of Ukraine's ambassador towards the end of this footage as she buries herself in a face palm.
Even today,
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned.
for your military.
Hold on, we watched all this. Look at how busy the room was.
Low in soldiers, listen, you're running low in soldiers. It would be a damn good thing. Then you tell us, I don't want to ceasefire. I don't want to cease so the bullets stop flying. Because
Here we go.
you don't want to cease, so you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want to
But I
ceasefire?
said to you,
I want to
with
ceasefire
guarantees.
because you get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask other people about ceasefire, what they think.
There
That's
wasn't.
the
That is visible pain. LBC Andrew said the crazy thing is they actually had a deal before this public meeting. Wow. But then it devolved. It went bad after that, guys. I don't know if you saw this, but this is what happened after it. There's no audio for this part. I'm kidding. It's AI. But I was like, man. I love how AI always hallucinates to people just fighting. All right, give me a 1 in the chat if I fooled anybody with that. I don't know if I did, but I was hoping to. But yeah, that was the real part where I was like, man, we got to show this just for that part. That was amazing. Or kissing, yeah. Either fighting or kissing. That's what AI is good for. Watch that on acid. Oh, we got one. We got one. We got one person. I got a bunch of people lying to me, and we got one person that got fooled. Duncan's kind of. Will the fan says, how do people make these clips? I think there's like an AI app that does it. Not really sure. Benjamin Long says, you can't fool me with AI. I know. It's just, I saw that. I was like, that is fucking hysterical. It's just like, what? Like if I showed this to my parents, they'd be like, holy shit. Wait, I just noticed, hold on. Does Trump have a toupee in AI? Does his hair like fall off and he gets bald? Watch. Yeah, he's like bald now. He has a toupee and it falls off. Watch. That's some advanced level AI. That's amazing. Oh, so